What's up YouTube? KidMoto22 here, and today I want to talk to you about modding your bike. Specifically, I want to talk to you about parts and where you're going to buy those parts for your bike. I want to talk about OEM versus aftermarket versus Amazon. So let's get to that right now. Welcome back YouTube, KidMoto22 here, and if you saw in my intro, we're talking a little bit today about modding your bike and where you should get those parts from. And so specifically I want to talk about OEM versus aftermarket versus the giant Amazon. And so what that means to you as a consumer and what that means to modding your bike and parts and etc. So let's get into that right now. So if you've listened to the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast, if you've listened to any of my other talking head videos or anything, I've talked about modding my bike and I've talked about things I've done and parts I've put on. And specifically today, I want to address the issue of, like I said before, OEM versus aftermarket versus Amazon, right? So the first thing is let's talk about OEM. So OEM, buying your parts from the manufacturer that manufactured your bike. This is what I say to that. Everybody knows I ride a Harley and there's nothing wrong with OEM parts. You're gonna pay a premium, but typically what you're gonna get with that premium is you're gonna get a perfect fit and finish for your bike, and you're gonna get something that really is good quality. Now, you know, this is debatable for some people. Sometimes you get that, you know, the old adage, you get what you pay for, but the OEM, in my experience, typically have been really good fit and finish parts, and they almost always, I would say 99.9% of the time, are a perfect fit, perfect match for your bike. There's really no problems. They come with instructions, boom, you put them on, okay? So that's the first one is OEM. And that's pretty similar, has been my experience with all kinds of different bikes that I've had. The Kawasaki that I had prior to my Harleys, same kind of thing. The OEM parts, perfect, fit on my bike. The next thing is I want to talk about aftermarket. So aftermarket is a kind of a mixed bag right now. So some people say they're made in America. They only want to get the made in America parts. Those are the only things that they're going to put on their American motorcycle. And I'm here to tell you, I disagree with that. What I agree a little bit more with is two things. Number one, support an aftermarket dealer that you can get behind. A dealer that you know is putting out quality parts, and they're taking the time to, really field test those, and that they're manufactured well, and you're getting a good quality part, and you're paying for, your hard-earned dollars, or you're getting what you pay for, that you're getting a good quality part, and you're getting the part that you want to put on your bike and that you know is going to fit. Support the aftermarket dealers that that you maybe have developed a relationship with. That's what I like about the small kind of the market that we're in right now, where you can contact some of these aftermarket parts, and they might be a company of 2, 3, 4 people, and that's it. And so you have a really good chance of talking to somebody who's either manufacturing your part or owns the company. And that's a great place to be in, because you can develop a long-term relationship with these smaller companies that really are going to benefit you in the long run. If your part fails, most of these companies really stand by their products well. The other thing is that they really are, a lot of them are really focusing on customer service. So if you DM them on Instagram, you're going to get them. You're going to get a little bit more of an immediate response than you would from, say, an OEM. So that's, to me, is the advantage, that relationship building, and having that first-hand contact with the person that owns a company. The second thing is that I really like the idea of just supporting small business of any kind. And I'm not really stuck on American made. I'm stuck on quality parts for my motorcycle. That's what I'm stuck on. So, I like the small businesses for that, and I like to support the small businesses for that. So shout out to all the small businesses out there that are just making really great parts for our Harleys right now. And the last thing is the giant, Amazon, okay? If you've listened to anything that I've said before, I don't like this. I do not like to cheapen my motorcycle, I'll say, by putting parts on my bike from Amazon where I don't know where they were manufactured, I don't know where they came from, I don't know the quality of these parts. it's just, I'm just not really comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with putting a part of my bike. Say that the foot pegs, for instance, I buy an Amazon foot peg and I go, oh, I paid $60 for these. And then I get into a situation and I have to put some pressure on them and they snap off because they're made out of poor materials or something like that. Or God forbid they come off on the highway when you're going 85 miles an hour. I don't like the idea of that. And, you know, the other thing about that is, and it's not a really well-known, you know, kind of thing out there that we talk about, but I'll tell you this because I've heard it before and I've heard of other small market people that have complained about this, is that you have your small market aftermarket parts that are putting the R&D in, they're designing their own designs for their parts and they put them out for consumption. And what inevitably happens is that if those parts are popular, then that design is being stolen and it's being manufactured, you know, with lesser quality materials and put on Amazon by some company from who knows where that is charging way less for that price, or that part, I should say. And I don't like the idea of this. I don't like the idea of somebody's intellectual property being stolen by somebody else and sold on Amazon, because it's nearly impossible for these small market companies to go after Amazon or to go after all of the sellers that Amazon might have that's copying their parts. And this goes all the way up to your Arlenesses that it happens, and to your, you know, your smaller kind of more cottage companies like Original Garage Moto, where I like to get some of my parts from. So it's a widespread thing in our industry. You can go on Amazon, you can find probably the same part that you could get from Arlen-Ness or Original Garage Moto. It's going to be a lot less expensive, but I'll tell you this, it is not going to be authentic. It's not going to be the real part manufactured by that dealer, and I guarantee you that it's not going to be up to the quality standards that we would like to put on our motorcycles. Now, I know some of you are saying, hey, I can't afford these, you know, cottage industry aftermarket parts because they're very expensive. And you're not wrong. But when you buy a part from one of these companies, you're supporting someone else's family. Someone's putting a dinner on their table for their family because you're buying parts from them. Save your pennies. Instead of trying to buy all the parts at once, save and buy that really nice part that you've been saving up for a while, so that you can put something that's up to the quality of the bike that you purchased. The last thing you want to do, in my opinion, is buy a $30,000 Road Glide and put, you know, parts on it from Amazon that are going to be cheaply made and that are going to fail. I just don't agree with that process. I don't like it, and I really don't support the idea of it. Are there times when we should use Amazon for things? Absolutely. There are. But I don't think that you should do it with something like motorcycling. You know, our industry, the industry of motorcycling is too small. And so it's not big enough to where it can support Amazon coming in and, you know, being a part of it, because they will put small businesses out of business by just undercutting their pricing. And then what you're going to have is you're not going to have anybody innovating these parts anymore. You're not going to have these quality parts coming to bear in the market, because all of these cottage industry companies are going to be gone. So that's how I feel about it. Anyway, just my 2 cents about what I think about modding your motorcycle and parts and where you get them from. So that's about all I have for you guys today. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up. I'll put a link to another video up over here of mine that you might like. And you could subscribe here or here. And just remember, subscriptions are always free. That's all I got for you guys today. This is Kid Moto. I'm out.